Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here to Murder Church on a Tuesday night. Thanks everyone for coming in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be going over some Ted Bundy stuff as we get ready to go into book club tonight, which is members only. We've been reading The Stranger Beside Me, and yeah, I think that some of the clips that I've brought out here will go perfectly into where we're at in that book currently. So thank you all so much for coming in. Hit the like, share it out on X. Let's go.
Let's rock.
Whoa. Where are you guys at? What are you guys doing hanging out in here and publicly buzz live? Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I appreciate it. You know I do. Who we got in the chat? Who we already got hanging out in the chat tonight? Teresa coming through here saying, hold on, let me get this over here. We can't see what they're saying. I see Botrix arrived, though. I do appreciate that. What do we got here? Boom! We got Wildside hanging out. Teresa hanging out. Bassett Page, who was making her way and catching up to Murder Church on Sunday mornings with Phil Spector trial, which is awesome. Always love seeing her comments. Just a Crazy Jen. Hey, friends, I finally got a chance to join again tonight. Hell yes, love to see it. Laura's coming through here. She is digging those vibes, baby, in the opening. Rock and roll. Let's go. Gabby, welcome to hell in here. Gabby won a shirt on Sunday, which was freaking awesome. And for anyone that doesn't know, we're working on another wheel for another shirt. So, let me see where we're at, because everyone has been so freaking kind and so amazing the last little bit. Fucking always. You guys blow my fucking mind. Like, it's unbelievable what I've been lucky enough to get here. Like, you guys are amazing. I go over the gypsy stuff, you know, I don't know. Like, I can't even talk. Like, it's fucking the best. You guys are insane. And again, we're going to be giving away another t-shirt, which is sweet. So right now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're 5 away. Oh shit, we're 4 away because Gabby, the last winner, who was always coming through and doing G-level shit, just dropped $3, baby, right there. Thank you so much, Gabby, and that's going to get us off to a good start. Really appreciate that. Holly Berry's walking in the door, kicking in the door, rather. Boom! Frog just kicked in her arm, right behind her. Boom! BG hanging out. Can't wait for book club. That's what I'm talking about. And folks that might not be a member, oh hell yes, love to hear that. Folks that might not be a member already with Publicly Buzzed here, there's a lot of reasons to already do so, especially as it's warming up. I want to start doing some extra content. Maybe I'm going to be going to some different restaurants. I'm thinking about maybe starting to cook a little bit more and documenting it, because I used to do a thing called Spaced Out Cook Boy, where I would cook and document it, and I was trying to do that online. Of course, it never went anywheres really, but I've been getting the memories in Facebook, and it's making me kind of want to do something, so that could be coming soon. But the one thing that we do every Tuesday night that is awesome, and we're halfway, even more than halfway, probably about halfway, through The Stranger Beside Me, a book on Ted Bundy written by Ann Rule. And tonight's episode is going to be interesting. Again, I take extremely detailed notes about the chapters that we read. We read 2 chapters a week. And then we meet back here Tuesday after Murder Church for members only, a Buzz Nation book club meetup, and we discuss it. You know, I go over my notes and I look in the chat and see what's going on. But I really appreciate everyone that's been coming through. And then, you know, who knows what the next book will be? You never know. Maybe a cooking club, huh? And then if I hold on, let me get my X up here, because I've been posting these the last couple of days. Today I posted a peanut butter pie that I made. I made some chicken fried steak that I posted up. And then this one casserole thing. Hold on, guys. Look at this peanut butter pie. Tell me this shit doesn't look fucking fire. Fire. I do like to do a little bit of bacon and cook. That wasn't either of those, but a little bit of cooking. Chicken fried steak, you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dude, that's with the legit white gravy, son. And then I made this right here. Little casserole. And then the other picture, you can kind of see there's some black beans in there. It might be like a taco type casserole. I'm not really sure there, but lots of reasons to be a part of the Buzz Nation is what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. Boom. Yeah, I used to call it Spaced Out Cook Boy. That's what I was going for there. But yeah, Cooking with Steve would probably be where I'd go now, maybe. I'd probably do a little both. Dude, chicken fried steak is so freaking good. I would make that shit right up for you too, Holly. I'd get that shit going. You'd be like, oh shit, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I like to cook. I really do. I went through a phase where I was going pretty wild, and again, I was documenting it. Now every time I see it come through Facebook, I'm going to start posting it for everybody. So, just a crazy Jen gifting out a membership to Wildside. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking. No, wait, my bad. Gifting out a membership to Bassett Page. Wildside was right underneath her. Bassett Page got that son of a bitch. Hell yes, you can join up tonight.
Welcome to the party.
Bassett Page can now come in and hang out tonight. Thanks to Just a Crazy Jen. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate that. Nice. Getting you right here on the wheel. Also, beautiful people in the Buzz Nation. I think we're only 3 names away now. So we'll see how it keeps going here. Steve, I'm going to blow your mind tomorrow with the sandwich. The sandwich I'm going to make my husband for lunch. Please post that in the Discord. And yeah, Gabby, I can't compete with Gabby. Gabby's stuff looks like a professional chef makes it. Like, my stuff isn't that good looking, but I can get down on some grubbage. I cook regularly, actually. Like, Cassie doesn't really cook. I do the cooking. So yes, you better. I'd like to see those. One cool thing, the only thing that I have planned otherwise this week will be Friday. Lisa, Miss Shorty's going to be coming on here. We're going to be watching another Hooker movie. All right, this one is going to be super fun. It's called Frankenhooker. And Frankenhooker, I always say this is one of my favorite movies. I'm currently playing basically all of my favorite films. And Frankenhooker is right up top. Like, it's so fun. So make sure you come through on Friday night. We're going to have a good time in here. Teresa, I'm so glad everybody came to hang out. So, yeah, tonight we're going to be going over a little bit of Bundy stuff. Let me see if I got my stuff lined up correctly. I think I do. So I've got a couple of different links here. Footage from the 76 to Ranch court clips, which where we're at in the book is right in this vicinity. We're at the end of 75 going into 76. That's when his trial for the Ranch kidnapping happened. 74 search for Bundy and at Lake Samish is where this report is coming from. Is another clip. Another clip will be Bundy's friend talks about untying women's halter tops. And anybody that's been keeping up with the book club and the Ann Rule story, how she's telling it, going through, in chronological order of events, except the very beginning. The very beginning she kind of starts after the arrest in Florida, but after that it's in chronological order. And there's this story of Ted, a buddy, and 2 lady friends that went out on this rafting trip. And Bundy was being really erratic on this trip, and again untying women's halter tops and getting a real thrill out of pestering females. We're going to hear that interview. Hopefully that one will be okay. That one might be from a television show. We'll see how that one flies. And then I got an 87/89 news coverage and execution we're going to be looking at. So we've got a couple of different clips. This first one we're looking at here is raw footage, Ted Bundy, 1976. This is from the Ranch court clips. And this is right where we're at currently with the reading material. So, hell yes, hookers. Drinda, welcome in here. I'm glad you came in tonight also. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, let's get in here. Make sure I got the sound right. Oh, and anybody that didn't see my stream Sunday with Jack with Never a Truer Word, please go check that out. I just now actually broke out basically all of it without the fluff, without the bullshit. You're going to get the real live, except I'm going to break it into a video form, which is really breaking down the Tappa Talk Kohberger analysis from Jack into a video form. Is going to be dropping probably, I don't know, tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, you said to stay back towards that way and away from the club entrance. I'll have them tell you again if you want.
Nice. Right. And I will say this, I always like to do this plug also. I swear, because if I don't take notes as I'm listening to this book in real time, then it goes right out the window. It goes right one in one ear and one and out the other. So I take very detailed notes about the chapters that we're reading. So I would say this, Bassett, if you wanted to go back and look at the previous lives and check those out, they're only about 20 to 30 minutes each time that we do them. I'd go over the notes in detail from each chapter, but also feel free to read it. We're up to chapters. Tonight we're going over 20 and 21. Next week will be 22 and 23, just as a reference there. But I'm glad you're in here. Hell yes.
Just one question procedure. About how long will it go after it's turned over? And so how much longer will it probably go? Just a guess. Well, I suppose it's going to be 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days. When, just even guessing or it's now 21. The judge were here.
So this is, this says 76. This has to be early 76 because where I'm at right now. Actually, no. Okay, no. This is, I believe, January 76. If I'm not mistaken, maybe February 76. I'm literally at this point in the book right now. Is this Durant's trial? Which Carol Durant is the lady that got away from Ted Bundy when he tried to kidnap her.
Jail, yes. That's what you're asking. In my day. Where did the bell go?
See how tall he is. I don't remember how tall he was. I know how Charles Manson's super good. Bundy's height. Oh, he's 6 foot. He's taller than me. Shit, actually, I thought he was a little bit shorter than that. I was going to make a joke if he was like super short, like 5'6", 5'7" short, because I'm 5'10". I don't want to go too short. Let's hold the jokes under that. But be like, the new tag team champions of serial killing, Charles Manson and Ted Bundy. These little guys. They're just 2 little guys. No, Ted Bundy's decent size. And as we know, I'm going to keep pausing. I'm erratic as hell right now, going mile a minute. But we know that Bundy liked to pick up smaller women. We know that he liked to get women that he could manhandle. Shit. I keep thinking in my head, like, if this was today, how people in the true crime, which true crime wasn't the same as it is today. It wasn't a genre like it is today. I don't think. I mean, probably for books, light television, but not like the deep docs and the insane films that you can get into today. But I could just imagine some of the freaks that would be in. And hell, Ted Bundy had his freaks in his corner then. But just imagine now with the possibility of being online. We're looking at the car.
So you can see this has been, this fender has been redone. Yeah, that's an amateur Bondo. Well, that's what.
411. Nice. I'm a foot taller than you, bastard. Yes, that is absolutely horrifying, Lauren. Thank you for being here, too. Catgro, welcome in. Semi-Sharp, welcome in, my friends. Buzz Nation, walking in the door. I like to say kicking in the door. Kicking that thing in. So this, I believe, is the... Never mind. I was going to say this. This is the parking lot from which he kidnapped the girl at the play, but I don't think it, because I think that was at a school. Maybe. But I mean, hell, he did take women from parking lots within multiple times. So.
And then it's got different hubcaps than originally.
I love it.
I mean, we're just unfortunate that we got the original pictures. I don't want to get close to saying. Yeah, right. You know, Jesus, my throat is got. Yeah. I don't really know, to tell you the truth. You think when he took us about that night, just said goodbye to me, I mean, you know, kids, I don't know.
See where that car is at. I know it's been owned by private people. Holy shit! I could go see this car in about 2 hours. Holy shit! It's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Ted Bundy's 1968 Volkswagen Beetle, the one he owned and used for many of his crimes, is currently on display at the Alcatraz East Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That makes me want to go. Holy shit. And what else is in this crime museum? I'm about to look this place up. Whoa. Yeah, Pigeon Forge is about 2.5 hours from me in Tennessee. I've done some vacationing there. Wow, I've seen this place. I did not know that this place had Ted Bundy's freaking car in it. That's insane. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, Tennessee. That's not that far. They got OJ's fucking... Why do they have all this stuff so close? That's crazy. Wow. Is that a Charles Manson guitar? Holy fuck. All right. I bet they don't. Oh my God, they got pulled. This is crazy that this is this close to me. All right, I have to go. I'm going to be going here very soon, like straight up. And oh, is this Bonnie and Clyde's car right next to his fucking car? What the fuck? This is too trippy, dude. So I bet they don't allow videos inside, but I've got a, well, they've got videos. I'm going to figure it out, guys. We're doing that. That's going to be a members only content soon. Holy shit. That is not that far from me. Wow. That's crazy. Yes, Wild Side. We'll also do a food one.
And this is the other guy's food.
That just blew my mind that that's that close. Carrie, welcome in. That really just blew my mind.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here.
All right, Doctor. Next, I'm going into the 74, I think this is a news report, if I'm not mistaken. 74 search for Ted Bundy, Lake Samish, I know I'm saying that wrong. Victims, Dennis Naslin, Janice Ott, and I think they're just kind of going around doing some like interviews also. And I didn't want to show this because I just posted this on Twitter, and it seems to be ruining everyone's day. So I need to work on the thumbnail for the Brian Kohberger Tappa Talk video that I'm going to be dropping from me and Jack. So I said, there's a quote in there from his Tappa Talks where he says, he feels like a sack of meat. So I was like, ask Grok, I was like, can you make Brian Kohberger as if he is a sack of meat? And they nailed it. They fucking nailed it. I'll show you what my thumbnail's going to be, actually. So you can keep an eye out for that shit tomorrow. I made a giant sack of meat on there, and then I put the quote. I often think of things that humans do, things I have done my whole life. I feel like an organic sack of meat with no self-worth as I'm starting to view everyone as this. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow, folks.
I think they should be gang together so that the girls could be protected that are
Carla,
walking
welcome
around.
in.
And
J Money, welcome in.
Donated to us.
J Money, dude, have you been there? Dude, we'll go,
and the
bro.
reason I mainly came out here today is after one of...
Hey, that's not a bad idea either. The only thing about that is if they say no, and then if they know who I am, they might have a heads up. But I don't know. I like that. Fucking meat sack. Also, I keep pausing it. Hell, we're not into anything too deep here. I have an opportunity to buy 50 coasters. I could be doing for Wills as well, and I'm thinking about doing the classic pink PB logo for it. I think that would kind of be perfect for a coaster. But I'm also wanting to fill that out. I could get 50 for like I think $30. It's kind of a decent little deal. So what do you guys think of that?
Concerned.
Yeah, Jay,
Are
we'll
you
figure
go
it
out
out.
at night by yourself at all?
once in a while,
Are you afraid?
you just got to be really careful. Well, I think they've gotten themselves in the situations where they might not even be aware of what was going on and saying, well, I'll get in the car and start it for you. And then by that time, that might have been just too
Do you
late.
think they would go that far, go in and get in the car and start it for them?
I think a lot of girls have a hard time saying no to people because of their general nature of being friendly and flirtatious with people. Situation
Aren't
over
you
and
more
help somebody.
aware now of people that are approaching you, though, more than what you were before, after all these people are missing?
When I'm in a potentially dangerous situation that appears to me potentially dangerous, then I'm...
Yeah, this footage is just so trippy. So 50 years later now? I mean, time is insane. Time trips me out so hard.
It's one of those bathrooms. You sure? You want to talk to Fat Lady first, but I talked to that Dr. Swimmer that did all this stuff.
See any relation to her?
No, who is? Just a very, very interesting person.
Oh, yes, hang on just a minute. Who wanted hands?
Bundy, the fact that he was able to kill this many women is insane.
Well, they said that
Denise Naslin's mother, Eleanor Rose, would learn the awful truth about her daughter that would lead to serious health problems for her.
Well, we gotta hear what she said, you son of a bitch. All right, the next one I got here. This is not, let's see, where is this from? This is the one where Bundy's friend talks about Ted Bundy friend talks about a raft trip Bundy unties women's halter top. So let's just see. I feel like this is from maybe like Netflix or something, and it might fuck us up, but let's see.
I'd always had a pet take thing.
Dr. Carlice's call to Larry Voschow, Ted Bundy's friend, 1976.
Gentlemen, and all very rather suave. That type of person that kind of never step out of line.
Uh-huh.
But as his raft trip progressed, his personality went from that to the type of personality none of us really wanted anything to do with it, not descriptive or with. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen him sensitive to him.
Uh-huh.
And that's been about 2 years ago this summer.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, there was one incident where Becky was tied onto the raft inner tube and he untied her halter top, let it fall away, and it was embarrassing to her. It was completely out of line with his personality. But then, more than that, he got us into a couple of really tight situations. It was kind of like a deliverance kind of river trip, because he put us in under a waterfall one time and almost overturned the raft. Becky almost went under. He just seemed to enjoy seeing people frightened, I guess. And then he got in the inner tube, cut himself loose, and went off by himself for a while. And
Should have just left him. Jesus Christ. That was interesting that he said after he, it was out of character for him to untie the halter top and to try to act like that. Like, what was up with this day? They're going on this big trip, and this is already after the murders had started also. I remember this trip depicted in the book by Ann Rule that we're reading. So it's already, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this trip happened after murders had already started happening. So is he already starting to lose it, I mean, but you think he wouldn't act like that with a male friend there?
it bothered me about
Who was not
that.
a sick psycho.
None of the rest knew very much about navigating rivers and rubber rafts. And he just decided he was tired of it and took off for ahead of us down the river. And then when we got down, finally landed where the car was, he went up to pick up another car, and it was only about 7 miles, and he was gone for over an hour and a half. But his personality just went from a very pleasant kind of person to someone who was just practically unbearable to be with. And I don't know whether it was that he was tired of his amateur partners or what. It was one of the most unusual personality transformations I've ever seen. Been a reporter for about 10 years, and I've seen plenty.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to some others who knew him, and I learned that Ted went out on a raft trip and took another girl with a couple other people. One who was sort of a friend, knew Ted, been to parties with him.
I'd always had that thing.
Yeah, this clip freaks me out. I don't know where this is from. Like, I feel like, wasn't there a Netflix Ted Bundy tapes one?
Gentlemen.
Uh-huh.
It's probably all right, but
As this raft trip progressed, he got us into a couple of really tight situations. Kind of like a deliverance kind of river trip. Put us in under a waterfall one time and almost overturned the raft. Becky almost went under.
She was in an inner tube and back, and he cut the rope and let it go over to this area where it was a dangerous part of the river. and she couldn't swim. At that point, he didn't kill anyone, but it was just out of control, and they could see it.
He just seemed to enjoy seeing people fight, I guess.
Okay, and then hold on. Then I've got a longer one here we're going to watch. I'm actually going to go get a brewski. This is the 87 to 89 news coverage.
In 1974, when University of Washington student Linda Ann Healy disappeared without a trace from her rented room near the campus,
Sounds like the sound is only out of one speaker. I apologize for that.
We didn't think so much in terms of serial killers. And it wasn't readily apparent that there was any connection between other young women who continued to disappear until some striking resemblances were noticed. All of them were college age, all had long hair parted in the middle, and they were disappearing with disturbing regularity. And none of us knew much about a law student, Ted Bundy, except to say that he made a little news spying on the opposition for the campaign of gubernatorial candidate Dan Evans.
In this atmosphere that we find ourselves in, it's hard for me to believe that what I did is newsworthy. And my part in the campaign was so insignificant, I'm embarrassed that I should be getting this publicity from it, really.
Then on a warm and bright July day when sunbathers were thick at Lake Sammamish State Park, two women disappeared, Janice Ott and Denise Naslund. I remember walking these grounds at the time. But something was new, the name Ted, a handsome young man with his arm in a sling who had been asking young women to help him load a sailboat from a tan Volkswagen.
What's up, Mandy?
After
All right, I'm going to get a
the
brewski.
name
I'll be
Ted
right
was
back.
printed and broadcast. There were no more disappearances here.
This is about 34 minutes. We'll be on this for a minute before we go into book club.
Among the 3,000 or so names of potential
everyone for
suspects
hanging.
they had was the name Ted Bundy. But Bundy was gone to Utah, and women disappeared there too. Meantime, human remains had been found here, first near Lake Sammamish, later off Highway 18 near North Bend. The Ted team combed the woods.
Most of the bones are quite chewed, so...
A young detective, Robert Keppel, began the lead work that would make him one of the top serial murder experts in the country. Today, he still waits to close the files.
Well, they said that
Denise Naslund's mother, Eleanor Rose, would learn the awful truth about her daughter that would lead to serious health problems for her.
The worst that we feared is true.
Task Force Captain Nick Mackey would suffer a serious heart attack that would sideline him, stress-related. And after a kidnapping conviction in Utah, Ted Bundy would next appear in Colorado under arrest in connection with the murder of a vacationing Michigan
Lamar
nurse.
James, welcome in.
But Bundy would walk into the courthouse and jump out of a window in the first of two escapes while awaiting trial. He would surface again as a renter in this house in Tallahassee, Florida, 4 blocks from the campus of Florida State University, where, in January 1978, a Mad Dog killer entered the Chi Omega sorority and smashed the skulls of 2 co-eds and attempted to kill 2 other women there, and struck at another house 5 blocks away. Credit card receipts and an eyewitness would place him in nearby Lake City, where the youngest victim, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, disappeared near her junior high school, her decomposed body to be found months later in an old hog shed. Ted Bundy was stopped for erratic driving in Pensacola in a stolen VW Bug and arrested after trying to make a break from the cop.
Of course, after several minutes of fighting, I did manage to subdue him by striking him with my revolver.
He refused to tell authorities who he was, but it wasn't hard. Ted Bundy was on the FBI's list of the 10 most wanted. It made national headlines, and the sheriff would notify Bundy of murder charges in front of glaring TV lights.
Or with a premeditated design or intent to effect the death of said Lisa Levy.
My chance to talk to the press.
Contrary to section 78204 Florida statute.
I'll plead not guilty right now.
And your grand...
We, the jury, found the defendant, Theodore Robert Bundy, guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in count 1 of the indictment.
It's like,
We know what happened. Bundy, insisting on playing a lawyer, was found
There is only sound out of one speaker. So.
guilty of the Chi Omega murders and sentenced to death in the electric chair. During court, he staged his
Actually,
own
sounds like there's opposite. I don't know what's happening.
wedding ceremony with longtime supporter Carol Boone.
Will you marry me?
Yes.
And I do hereby marry you.
Yeah, and he marries this lady, Carol Boone, after all of this had already taken place? The fuck?
Ted Bundy's place in history was now assured. 3 books would go back over the story, 2 of them by local authors. The Stranger Beside Me by detective writer Ann Rule.
Perfect, right? Immediately after this, we're going into Murder Church. Excuse me. We're going into the book club, the Buzz Nation book club, and we're on chapters 20 and 21. I'm going to be going over those immediately following.
Who had been Bundy's friend and co-worker at a local crisis clinic. The Deliberate Stranger by Richard Larson, a reporter for the Seattle Times, whose work was adapted to a network television movie.
I'd like to watch this movie, too. I haven't seen this one. This one's from like 84, 85, 86.
My name is Richard Larson. You'll meet me soon at the beginning of our story, our nightmare that began in Seattle in 1974.
And this book, in which Bundy describes in his own words what a serial killer might think and do. Wednesday morning at 4:30 Seattle time, the only living witness is scheduled to die for what he did do. John Sandifer, King 5 News.
1979, a Florida jury found Bundy guilty of the murder of 3 young women. Shortly thereafter, he was sentenced to die.
This court has
Well, I take notes. I take very detailed notes about the chapters, and I go over my notes. So, like, yeah, if you go check out the past lives of these, so the first 19 chapters, we do 2 chapters a week. I take very detailed notes, and I just kind of read my notes and look in the chat to see if anybody's added anything to it and try to discuss.
I impose the death penalty upon Theodore Robert.
Well, Mom, James don't know about the book club. Ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday nights, immediately following Murder Church, we have a book club. We're currently reading The Stranger Beside Me. It's a Ted Bundy, about Ted Bundy. It's a book about Ted Bundy. Ann Rule wrote it. Ann Rule is someone that worked with Ted Bundy at a crisis call center in 1972 and kept being his friend after he was accused and after he was convicted. I actually have a note in what I'm going to be going over tonight about her. That's pretty interesting because I think she's kind of I don't know. I feel like she was infatuated with Bundy, maybe even in an unhealthy way. But I don't know. We're going to go over that just a little bit. I've got that in my notes. I'm not going into detail about that, but yeah, come to the book club. And the only way to get in the book club is if you are a member, though. You got to member up. That's every Tuesday night. We're doing that.
Bundy.
Now, 7 years later, Bundy is still alive. He has played the appeals process like a fine violin, hitting all the notes at just the right time to ensure that the executioner must wait as long as possible. He's guaranteed.
I'm actually listening to somebody else read the book. You know, I'm listening to the audio version.
First appeal to the United States Supreme Court took 3 years. When he lost there, he began a series of challenges in state and federal court. He has gone through 14 attorneys, but now claims he received ineffective legal counsel. Often he served as his own counsel.
No, that YouTube channel is insane. That's where I've been taking all of this stuff from. It's nuts.
And now claims that there was no legitimate effort to decide his mental competence. The legal record of his case is now more than 10,000 pages long. Those who complain that it would cost too much to keep Bundy alive might compare what it has cost to try to put him to death. His case worked its way back up to the United States Supreme Court again.
It's a lot. Like the notes, I take very detailed notes, extremely detailed notes.
Right
there, Bassett Page, giving out a membership. Uh-oh.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Drinda getting an opportunity to come in tonight. Let's go. Hell yeah. Also, getting us one step closer, Bassett. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think where are we? Like 2 away from a shirt giveaway? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, baby. Only 2 away. Hell yeah. Thank you, Bassett.
If the 11th Circuit turns him down after this latest lease on life, he may get a 3rd trip to the High Court. Many law students only dream of going before the Supreme Court. Ted Bundy may make a career of it.
Oh, Sharon. How dare you? How dare you compare Ted Bundy to Brian Kohberger? No, thank you for Sharon for coming in. I love it. I've been making some posts very similar to that, and I know a lot of people have already been making references to that, and I get it. I totally get it. Sharon, welcome in here. I think you're in the right spot.
In Seattle, Jack Hammond, King 5 News.
Theodore Robert Bundy is a man known by law enforcement officials throughout the western United States. He is thought to be connected with a series of assaults and murders in 3 western states. And for the past year, he has become well known in Tallahassee, Florida. Bundy is charged with 2 counts of murder in Tallahassee and 3 counts of attempted murder. all stemming from the morning of January 15, 1978, when 4 women were attacked while they slept in this sorority house near the Florida State University campus in Tallahassee. Only 2 survived. That same morning, the same killer allegedly entered this house only 5 blocks away, severely but not fatally beating the woman who lived here. A lack of physical evidence in both crimes had law enforcement officials stymied. But a month later, Theodore Bundy was stopped by...
Oh, shit. We're only one away now, thanks to my man, dude. J Money coming through the old Cash App with $3. Fuck yeah, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's go. Thank you, J Money. Like I said, this one is for a t-shirt. We're only one away. Only one away from getting that spin going, baby. Who wants to spin a wheel tonight? Who wants to do it?
By Pensacola police on suspicion of auto theft. The hunch proved correct. Bundy was driving a car stolen from Tallahassee, and he was returned to the Leon County Jail under theft charges. In addition to auto theft, investigators discovered Bundy had in his possession over 150 stolen credit cards. But their prime suspicion was that Bundy was connected somehow with the murders on January 15th. Bundy came to Tallahassee on January 7th, 1978, an escapee from a Colorado jail, awaiting appeal on kidnapping charges, under an assumed...
Holy shit, that couldn't be more perfect. That couldn't be more perfect. Catgro just gifted out a membership, and welcome the hell in here to Sharon TH. After she made that comment about Kohberger and Bundy, I told her she was in the right place. And now she got membered up, thanks to Kat. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that. You are now, Sharon, tonight, immediately after this, after Tuesday night shows, we have a members-only book club. You are now welcome to that. Come on in. I'd appreciate it. And then also, starting a brand new will. Gabby. The queen coming through here with $2. Thank you guys so freaking much. I love it.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Hanging, banging.
Welcome in here, everybody. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll start working on a will. We're going to spin a motherfucking will and give away a t-shirt.
Name, he rented an apartment at this boarding house near the FSU campus.
Amazing people.
During the next month, police alleged that Bundy supported himself by stealing wallets containing credit cards and small amounts of cash. He also allegedly stole 5 cars, one of which led to his Pensacola arrest. Although he was a prime suspect in the murder case, there was little evidence to connect Bundy with the crimes. After holding Bundy for 4 months, the Leon County grand jury indicted him on July 25th for the assaults and murders. The arrests took place under the eye of television cameras, which has been just one of a series of controversial aspects of the case. Bundy alleges that the manner in which he was arrested, along with extensive press coverage of this case, has jeopardized his ability to receive a fair trial. Bundy also requested the legal counsel of Atlanta attorney Millard Farmer, who was denied entry to the case because of a Georgia contempt of court citation. Bundy has relied heavily as a result on his own year of law school to prepare many of the motions filed in this complex case. Since Millard Farmer's denial to represent Bundy, the Public Defender's Office has been active in preparing Bundy's defense. The actual trial is scheduled to begin on June 11th. But whether it will take place in Tallahassee is one of the motions to be heard this week in pretrial hearings in Florida's capital city, as Circuit Judge Edward Cowart tries to determine if Theodore Bundy is too famous a suspect for a fair trial in Tallahassee, Florida.
At this point, because of the recent ruling of the Florida Supreme Court, a certain novelty about looking directly into a courtroom. And it's like as if a curtain had been pulled back, and for the first time the public feels it's gazing at something that it had hitherto been barred from, although that...
Well, it ends on cat, it's going to be hard to see. I don't know why that purple's not showing up at all. But take a look at this real quick. We're going to do the spin, but hold on. I want to show... Everything came out through pretty good, but this one's cat. Just so we know. That's cat. That's... Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, this novelty has not worn off yet.
So saying, Theodore Bundy requested that Judge Edward Cowart bar all electronic media from the courtroom during the pretrial hearings, which started today. Cowart denied the motion, saying he didn't see the fundamental fairness or necessity of such an action. He also refused to disqualify himself as the judge in this case. An attempt to have the public kept from hearings on several more defense motions was the subject of a closed afternoon meeting between Cowart and the defense, the prosecution, and counsel for the media. No decision was made. Hearings on other defense motions resume tomorrow with the request for a change of venue scheduled to be heard next week.
Theodore Robert Bundy, you are charged, indictment, 2 counts burglary.
This scene is so crazy, dude. This
2
is
counts murder in the first degree.
It's nuts to what's happening here. They bring freaking Bundy, I believe, off an elevator right into this scene where they're on live, I don't know if it's live, but on television. And I believe this is the prosecutor, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or like the sheriff or the detective, somebody, dude. And he's like being super defiant, but he's right beside him as he's reading this warrant. Dude, it's fucking insane, dude. Like, this whole scene is nuts.
3 counts attempted murder in the first degree.
It's like a movie.
On the 15th day of January, 1978, in Leon County, Florida, did then and there unlawfully kill a human being, to wit, Margaret Bowman, by strangling and or beating her. Theodore Robert Bundy, on the 15th day of January, 1978, in Leon County, Florida, did then and there unlawfully kill a human being, to wit, Lisa Lee, by strangling and or beating her. And said killing was perpetrated by said Theodore Robert Bundy from or with a premeditated
Isn't that crazy?
design or intent
Look
to
at him
affect the
walk
death of said
around.
Lisa Lee. My chance to talk to the press. Contrary to section 78204 Florida statute.
He's not even handcuffed, dude.
Right now. And your grand jurors being present in said court further gives...
That is the craziest scene right there to me. Real quick, I do want to... Hold on. Lamont James, I love that Steve hasn't upgraded the will. So I was just thinking today, I'm pretty sure the month of June is the 1-year anniversary of the will, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a year into this guy. I need to get a new will.
That was Ted Bundy nearly a year ago.
Dude, it's nuts.
Today, he was taken by Sheriff's motorcade from Florida's Leon County Jail to begin what may be 2 weeks of pretrial.
Have you guys ever
hearings
seen
in
that?
preparation
Like,
for the June
it's
11th
crazy.
murder
Like,
trial.
the whole thing is...
Bundy's had, in addition to a year of law school at the University of Utah, a year in jail here to prepare his defense. And he's done his homework.
And that wasn't even it. He talks for a while. Like, they do all that, and then he starts talking to the press. Like, I don't know if they're letting him hang himself with his own rope, but it was nuts.
Today, dressed more like an attorney than a defendant and carrying an armload of legal papers, he began arguing that case before Judge Edward Cowart. First, the defense requested that Cowart disqualify himself. The judge refused. Then Bundy rose himself to argue. He no longer spoke like the Ted Bundy of a year ago, who constantly demanded access to the media. Today, he asked that cameras and microphones be barred from the courtroom.
I have trouble articulating to the court constant, what you might call it, omnipresent distractions, considering how we're going to conduct these hearings in front of the eye of the camera. How do we dress? How do we talk? Do I talk? Whether I wear a gray suit or a blue suit.
Then the defense went one step further.
Yeah, good argument.
Asking the judge to bar all media and the public from pretrial hearings on suppression of evidence. Some of the evidence the defense wants kicked out: Bundy's criminal background in the West, and testimony which could help put him here, the sorority house where the murders were committed. The judge was not terribly receptive.
We're conducting the public's business, gentlemen, and we're going to conduct it in the sunshine, as we've said in Florida.
Late this afternoon, Cowart found a solution which should make everyone happy. He said he'd pick a jury June 11th, sequester it, and only then hear the suppression motions. That way, Bundy's assured the jury won't be tainted by evidence which may later be declared inadmissible. And it will also take away any reason for excluding the press and public. Ken Connaughton, Newswatch 2, Tallahassee.
That's pretty brutal.
The signal came early. Ted Bundy was dead. Hundreds of onlookers were in a festive mood. Inside
Like the fact they
prison,
just turned it into a party outside the prison's wild.
Execution went off without a hitch. Bundy's familiar good looks and allure replaced by an impish man with a shaved head. He smiled at prosecutor Jerry Blair as he sat in the chair.
I returned his greeting, whatever it was, but I tried to return it in the same spirit in which it was given, and Bundy appeared to be sincere.
There was no last meal, no confessions, and no regrets. Only a goodbye to family and friends.
These images are trippy.
Perhaps
as we've seen. I mean, I've seen. I'm sure most people in here have seen the actual body after the electrocution, after the death.
For a confession or more openness, but I'm not surprised that he didn't do it.
Among the witnesses, the man who discovered the ravaged dead body of victim Kimberly Leach 11 years ago.
The pain that he went through at death most likely was nothing like what she had went through, but it gave me a lot of satisfaction to know that justice had finally been done.
With the death, many questions remain, but there is one certainty.
Theodore Bundy will never inflict pain on anybody else.
For the man who murdered dozens of women, the irony of the final act of justice is that it may have been carried out by a female executioner, hidden from Bundy and others by a black hood. At Florida State Prison, I'm Mike Vasalinda for NBC News.
Like, is it usually like you don't know who it is, but probably someone that works for the prison? Or is it just a little... Like,
detectives who have come to the small community of Stark believe it's part of Bundy's last-minute manipulations to try and save his own hide from the executioner. Bundy has called off the news conference before reporters scheduled for Monday, but that's an hour-by-hour decision. And many believe that Bundy has confessed to crimes in the Northwest only to whet the appetite of detectives, hoping for more if he only had a little more time. That's the last thing the people of Florida want to give him, is time. In Lake City, where the gravestone of 12-year-old Kimberly Leach reminds them of 3 grisly murders here, there is no sentiment for Ted Bundy.
There's got to come to an end. It's got to be finished sooner or later. I mean, it's been 10 years.
Let's go.
The majority of the people here in Lake City would like to go ahead and see him, the sentence carried out.
This is the prosecutor who handled the Leach case for which Bundy is scheduled to die.
Mr. Bundy's been on death row for between 9 and 10 years. He's had ample opportunity to tell law enforcement authorities what they needed to hear. He has not availed himself of that opportunity, and I think his attempt to do it at this point in time is nothing more than a cynical attempt to
also on the channel
frustrate
probably over a year
ago
ago
of the lawful sentence
is
here
the last Ted Bundy interview. I did that
in Jacksonville. Radio stations are playing a Bundy medley, which includes the song "Come On Baby Light My Fire," and elsewhere there have been demonstrations against any delay in the execution. Meantime, at the prison, Bundy has admitted 5 more murders to a Colorado detective, 2 to an Idaho detective, in addition to the 11 mentioned in Washington, and has kept a Utah investigator cooling his heels, waiting to ask Bundy some more questions.
It's in the Salt Lake City area. We have 5 cases, 2 of which are confirmed homicides, and 3 young girls that were missing during the time period 1974 and 1975.
And here in Stark, where there is a northwest-like rain and windstorm brewing, it's really been a day of rest. And except for increasing numbers of reporters drifting into town for Tuesday's execution, you really wouldn't know anything out of the ordinary was happening. In Stark, John Sandifer, King 5 News. The weather here in Stark, Florida has been cold, rainy, and windy, very much like a northwest winter of the type Ted Bundy would be familiar with. 2 years ago, when we were here for an execution that didn't happen, these reader boards called for his death. This year, they are conspicuously absent, and the mood in the town is very somber. But if the sentiment is not apparent in Stark, it is elsewhere, mostly in Lake City, where a gravestone reminds residents of the murder of a 12-year-old schoolgirl who would have been 23 this year. That long wait for the killer to pay is why prosecutors and public want no further delays. They want Bundy to die.
Bundy has raised every issue, it seems to me, that he could have raised, that he should have raised, or that he ever could raise.
At the Florida State Prison, behind closed doors and high security, Ted Bundy is desperately trying to save himself by talking to detectives and offering even more information if he can be allowed the time. Florida won't give it to him. And Bundy is being cagey. He has told some detectives of murders in Washington, Colorado, and 2 previously unknown crimes in Idaho, but he has left at least 1 detective hanging.
Bundy's attorney telephoned me at approximately 11 o'clock last night and indicated that Mr. Bundy had a change of heart and did not wish to talk to me today.
Seattle detective Robert Keppel, who heard a tearful Ted tell of 11 Washington State
That's
murders,
awesome.
is staying
I've
close to the
immediately
prison
thought
death
that also
row,
because I
just
remember
in
you do
case
the
there
haunted
is
house
more.
stuff.
In Stark,
I bet that's
Florida,
what
John
that's for.
Sandifer,
That's
King
really
5
cool.
News. In Stark, Florida, John
That's how
Sandifer
you do it.
for
That's
NBC
promotion right
News.
there. That's how you do it.
In Stark, Florida, John Sandifer for News Center 7. In Stark, Florida, John Sandifer for News 8. Ted Bundy's last day at the prison broke bright and sunny. He had been moved to within 30 feet of the execution chamber. Scores of reporters from all over the nation heard how his final hours and minutes will go during a briefing
he has a really high
in which
number.
they also spelled out who some of his
atrocious,
final visitors will be.
The fact that he could get away and do that for so long is insane.
Dr. Dorothy Lewis,
but I mean, another book club plug. The way we're going through it and the way the story is depicted by Ann Rule, you know, he was pretty smart. I mean, he made a lot of dumb mistakes and he started getting crazier. But like he was moving along, he didn't stay in one area when it got a little too hot. I mean, but it also, the way he killed is so vicious. It's so evil. Like something truly snaps in this person, I feel like, honestly. And I think you can see that when he gets frustrated in some of these clips after he's already been arrested. Because he's always trying to keep that cool, calm, calculated demeanor. He's always too cool for school until he gets flustered. You could really see it there when they was reading that warrant out. He was just trying to hold it in, but he also, it was just boiling and about to boil over even there, even though what the hell's he going to do, right? And he knows that ain't going to look good on the cameras. But just imagine this guy unrestrained with a handcuffed female and the possibility to do anything he fucking wants. Like true evil right here. Yeah, Ted Bundy is crazy. That last interview is super interesting because he's getting into, it's almost, because he did start to open up a little bit later as it got closer to the execution. They were talking about it there. He started talking about other bodies. He did start admitting stuff because he went the longest time without being able to, or without admitting it. In the last interview, he talks about it in third person. That's how he's getting through it mentally. However you want to look at that. The dude is fucked in the brain, but he does have a lot of interesting things that he talks about in that last interview, and it's worth a watch.
Attorneys are meeting with Bundy.
Crazy.
Mention of a psychiatrist fueled speculation whether a diagnosis that Bundy is now insane will force the governor to delay the execution while Bundy is examined by a psychiatric panel. But one knowledgeable reporter says the chances of this psychiatrist doing that are almost nil.
Dorothy Lewis is one of the most respected psychiatrists in her field, which is criminal. She studies the psychiatry of death row inmates. She's a Yale professor. She's nationally known, and I think she has too large a reputation at stake to come in and say something that you didn't really believe.
The issue of Bundy's mental state was paramount. Speculation that Bundy would claim he is now insane was fueled by announcement of his first visitors today.
I can tell you that right at this time, Dr. Dorothy Lewis, a psychiatrist, and some of the attorneys are meeting with Bundy. That will continue probably through the noon hour today.
I didn't know if she wanted me to show
Under
it.
Florida law, a claim that Bundy is now insane would set off a mandatory psychiatric...
Hell, you probably want people to come to the thing anyways. Hold on. Let me snip it out. Yeah, this is Simi's hearse. Oh shit. Pretty freaking cool. I'm drawing on it. I'm drawing on the hearse. I'm separating this guy right here. We must find this man. Oh, he's not even on screen. I was drawing and circling this guy, and I was like, we gotta find this man. Who is he? What is he doing? All right, I'm out of my mind. I apologize. But fucking sweet-ass car. Super cool. I want a hearse.
Review that could delay the execution, but many think that is very unlikely due to the standards for insanity under the law.
They would have to claim that Ted Bundy doesn't know where he is, he doesn't know what's going to happen to him tomorrow morning, and he doesn't know why it's going to happen. Given the
let's just pile up in the back of that
giving,
thing.
The obvious fear that he has of what's coming out,
You have a casket
I don't see
also?
how they could make that claim.
to carry around?
Seattle
That'd be
Detective
cool.
Robert Keppel, who is among the investigators who received murder confessions from Bundy, does not believe mental illness is his problem.
No, not at all. Not according to law, he's not.
This dude's like, fuck Ted Bundy. That's all this dude's face says. Mental illness. I've never seen a look flip you off harder than this man's look. I've never seen a guy that just said, fuck you with his eyes harder than this guy.
No, not at all. Not according to law, he's not.
But not earlier. As early as 3 a.m., it was building to a celebration as hundreds came to witness whatever could be seen of the execution. Their
His eyes were about as
contempt
big as
was
his
for Bundy,
face.
but also for the system.
What would you think if he got a last-minute stay?
Very angry and very upset.
This lady's like, I want blood in the
The
streets
judicial system
tonight.
in our society has been made a fool of enough.
With the breaking of a pink dawn, Ted Bundy was led 30 feet into the death chamber and without great fanfare put to death. A reporter waved from outside death row to confirm that fact. Bundy's last words had been about his family and friends. Some witnesses didn't think that was enough.
I think most of us in the room were disappointed that he didn't come clean. He didn't say more about why. I mean, that's still unanswered. He went to his grave and no one really knows why. His only words were to his attorney, and that was to give my love to my family and my friends. Beyond that, he said nothing.
Dr. Dobson had told reporters Bundy blamed pornography as the triggering mechanism.
Yeah, that last interview, he goes pretty hard on porno. Like, he's blaming porno. He says that that's really what was triggering the majority of this.
To his violence.
He was very anxious to point out to me, and he wanted to say to everybody, that pornography did not cause him to do the things that he did. He said, I accept the full responsibility for it. But he did say that that was the fuel for his fantasies that led him to do these horrible things.
I can't. Tom, we're just sort of going to go with this until we get the word, if we get it. I don't know how much window they've got. We may run out of window. Can't get word of this.
Ted couldn't take access to porn today. Good Lord.
We should know something by then. 7:25 for instance.
Just be on X. You just on X, all of a sudden you're seeing porno. Old Ted would just be triggered. He's shooting guns? What is happening?
This is gun country.
They're loading the people in.
What?
Ted is anti-Feral Friday.
They're letting the people into the van.
Because of all the boobs that are shown.
They normally wave that little white handkerchief. I didn't see them do that.
Over with me.
There it is.
They give it, I can't see.
White handkerchief.
They just wave
yes.
it.
I mean, he's just waving his arms about. They should have like dimmed the lights when they did it. Like all the lights just start flickering. That would have been probably inappropriate.
Yes. Yes.
Like, are they part of the show? They're like, the folks are like giddy about it.
Just taking place. They're still waiting.
Like, isn't that crazy? Like, people can amp themselves up. Hell, we see this shit in fucking politics with some really gross shit. But like, people get all giddy about some violence on humans. Like, I'm pro-death penalty. Don't get me wrong. I think Ted Bundy deserved to die, but
I'm gonna go see if Dan's getting it. All right.
I'm not like throwing a party.
All right.
That seems crazy.
Hey!
Can you roll tape now on like this? Hand me that microphone, I can roll tape. That microphone, let's turn that way. Turn right. Well, if you can.
Hey! Get back! Get back!
Sorry, Jackson. Hey.
That buzz is just new prisoners. Like, I wonder what's going on. I'm sure they know what's going on. Everybody's paying attention to the news during this time, especially if you're in Florida.
I
I'm the elected state representative in the 12th district, which is Columbia County. It includes Columbia
Yeah, you're
County.
probably right, man.
The least girl was from Columbia County. I witnessed the death this morning. The state constitution has been upheld. I think anyone who's elected in the state of Florida should stand for the death penalty.
Could you tell us what happened?
Yes, I can.
Speak loudly.
What would you like to know of what happened? He said give his love to his friends and his family. He made eye contact with all the people sitting there who were witnesses. He acknowledged the state attorney, the people who had dealt with him previously. As a matter of fact, he even spoke to them. He made eye contact and spoke to them.
What did he say? What did he say?
Just hello.
What
Just
was
hello.
his demeanor? Was
He was calm, but he was visibly shaken. It was obvious that the man had some remorse about what happened.
How was that manifested? What you're saying?
When he was brought in, he seemed to be carried.
I've never seen this. This
Not
is
able
super
to go
interesting.
Under his own power.
Support on either side?
Right, support on both sides of it. The interesting thing, when he sat there, though, and started making eye contact, he seemed to regain a lot of his composure, which was interesting to me. I think someone who was in his particular predicament at that time, that wouldn't have been the case, but it was. His last words was just give my love to my family and to my friends.
How long did he speak for?
Very short period of time. They put the mic in front of him, and those were his only words. It looked like he wanted to say something else, but he couldn't go on from that point. They took the microphone away.
Did you say that he was actually sitting in the chair, or was he standing?
He was actually sitting in the chair. He had been strapped in, had been buckled in at that point.
Damn, that was super interesting to watch. Someone really that was there that explained what's going on. We just got a play-by-play.
No, not there. Sit down.
Okay, don't run off.
Yes. Yes.
Toast Ted. He's selling those out of the trunk of his car. He's got a mask on too.
They got it.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm from Seattle. Why are you out here today?
I don't know. Talk to someone. There's a lot
I
of
like
people out
this
here.
lady.
Talk to them.
Let me talk to this young man.
Yeah, talk to him.
She's like, shit.
We're trying to get it on TV right here. We want to watch it, see if we get any news. Because there's all these people out here won't tell us nothing. They just asking us dumb questions.
Interesting.
Well, but did you come out here because you care one way or another whether this goes ahead?
Oh, I care, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to go. Yeah, definitely.
Where are you from?
From
This lady's rocking some stylish ass.
How about you, sir? Where are you?
Where'd she say she's from?
This goes ahead.
Oh, I care, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to go. Yeah, definitely.
Where are you from?
From Lottie?
How about you, sir? Why are you out here this morning?
I'm out here
fuck
to
is
see
Lottie?
justice done.
Think it's about time?
I think it's about time. I think that the judicial system in our society has been made a fool of enough.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir.
Hello, Bob.
We're watching a movie.
What are you waiting for?
Waiting to hear more news about Bundy. What's going on?
Why'd you come out down here this morning? 5 o'clock?
I got here at 3:30. I had to be here.
Why?
I was up in Tallahassee going to FSU during the Chi Omega murders, and
You feel pretty strongly about this,
yes, very strongly.
What would you think if you
This
got
lady's
5 minutes?
intense, bro. The last lady, like, you could be like afterwards, let's go down to the bar, shit, have a drink. What do you think? Talk about. This lady's like intense as fuck. Like,
And very upset
I would like to wash my hands in his blood if we can make that possible.
with our judicial system, but sometimes that's the way it works. We might riot.
Why did she even say that? The lady beside her is just waiting to say that all day. We might riot. What? Why? Why would you riot? That would be inappropriate. That would not do anyone any good. You mean in the town? The prison? They're killing him? I'm very confused. We might riot. Oh, okay. All right, Crystal. Thank you. There was that weird dude.
What are you watching for?
That lady looks like the mom from Friday the 13th Part 1, Jason's mom.
There's people moving around in the car.
These people are all insane characters, dude.
Why'd you come out here so early this morning?
I may see a spark with these things.
Just to be with the crowd, I guess.
You feel pretty strongly, though, about what's going to happen?
Yes, sir. Why? Well, I think his time's just about up. I don't believe he's going to see. It's been 11 years now they've put on this thing.
This is super interesting to
spent an
watch.
awful lot of money on him. He's a very brilliant, smart, intelligent person. I don't see why he wasted it this way. And I don't know. It's just a challenge that he thought he could beat the system, I guess.
Well, that's about over now, huh?
And it's about over now, and I just want to see it over.
Yeah. And over this way.
Everybody's excited to see Bundy. Yeah.
They're treating it like a sporting event. They would be social media. Like, could you imagine the social media influencers out there just over flooded?
Many hours before dawn, Floridians had come to the state prison to display their contempt for Ted Bundy and for the judicial system that didn't seem to be able to put him away.
I think that the judicial system in our society has been made a fool of enough.
But as the sun rose on a day Ted Bundy would never see,
We're gonna put that
an
in
army
twice.
of
We want
media
that to
reporters
hit
and technicians realized all chances for another delay had ended, and their attention slowly focused on the death chamber across the way. A designated witness waved when the deed had been done, and cheers went up from the crowd.
He said give his love to his,
Two buckle
to his
up Bundy
friends and his family.
sounds. That's some
He
two
made
people had
eye
to say about
contact
that.
with all the people sitting there who were witnesses.
Have a seat, Ted. That was
He
different.
acknowledged
Yeah.
the state attorney, the people who had dealt with him previously. And matter of fact, he even spoke to them. He made eye contact and spoke to them.
5 hours after he died, Ted Bundy was back on videotape this time. His last interview before dying, explaining
The return
how
of
pornography
Bundy.
had
They do it
triggered
like a
his
horror movie.
downfall. The crowd of onlookers swelled into the hundreds. Some came by 3 in the morning to make sure they would see what little there was to see. There were signs and costumes and other reminders that these people
Bundy
favored the
barbecue.
death penalty, especially for Ted Bundy. But their contempt was
Oh,
also
Sammy, it'd
for
have
the
been nuts.
system.
I think that the judicial system in our society has been made a fool of
All right,
enough.
all right, my
I think
God.
his time's just about up.
All right, we're getting there.
It's been 11
I'm gonna
years?
call it actually. One thing I did want to somebody sent me one more picture. I'm gonna show. She sent me that there is a coffin in this son of a bitch, and then we're gonna spin a wheel before we head to book club, and I'll do another holler here on that. But look at this. She's riding around with bodies. She's legit as hell, son. It's awesome, Simi. Thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. But let's spin a wheel. And where are we going immediately after this? Where are we going? Where are we going? We're going to the motherfucking book club, Buzz Nation Book Club, Tuesday nights, immediately after Murder Church. We go over and we talk about The Stranger Beside Me. That's why I'm doing a lot of Bundy content. So let's spin a wheel. Good luck, everybody. Let's make sure. First, I'm going to give it a test. This is a test. I just want to make sure it's loose. All right, she's loose. All right. Ooh, look at that thing go. Hell yeah, that's a good one. Oh, that would have been crazy if Gabby won twice. She almost won twice in a row. Just a crazy Jen. Isn't the Jen won this one? Holy shit, is she still hanging out in here? Yes, boom. Just a crazy Jen picking up a shirt. Congratulations. Let's go.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Boom, boom, boom.
Hold up. Hold up.
Get you down here in the winner circle. Got a t-shirt. Publiclybuzz.com. Go check out the shirts and let me know which shirts you want. Send me your size, Addy, and shirt at publiclybuzzed@gmail.com. And I will get that to you. Boom. Hell yeah. Everybody is the best. Thank you all so freaking much. That rules. Boom, 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 boom. That's what we do up here in Publicly Buzz. We come through. We don't mess around. We got the best crew in town. I'm telling you right now. No one does it like the Buzz Nation does it. So right now what we're going to be doing, we're about to head over to the book club. Again, this is only for members. But any new folks, I know we got some new folks that are going to be checking us out tonight, hopefully. All of the past chapters, you can go back and watch those episodes. I do pretty detailed notes. I'm going to go over those tonight. And I go over those every Tuesday night. So, hell yeah. All right, everyone, the next time you'll see me will be Thursday night. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. We'll be doing something cool. Maybe do a little cops. I ain't done some cops. Well, we did cops last week with Chris and Dan. Maybe it'll be a cop party. Who knows? But Friday night, we got Lisa and Miss Shorty coming through here. We're going to be watching Frankenhooker, which is going to be fun as hell. That movie is insane. And we're having 2 Feral Fridays in a row with hookers. I think it's going to be cool. And yeah, thanks everyone. I will see you in a moment on Murder Church. The book club. We're in Murder Church. You good. All right, get the hell out of here.
This hurts. Nothing to see.